That's the case there. And, all right, here we go. In fact, we're going to have a commercial for Asian House here very shortly. So, if it's 12:30 on Tuesday, that means that Caleb Calhoun of allfortennessee.com will join me talking about the Vols, and even, as the news seems to be, oh, look, only 3 months until football season. Hey, allfortennessee.com is the best off-season website, fan-sided network, but don't let you think that means that Caleb Calhoun is a fanboy writing about the team. Oh yeah, he grew up in Memphis rooting for the Vols, but I think you're going to find a journalistic integrity to his writing that most people covering the Volunteers don't have, to be honest with you there. The other thing is that he comes up with wonderful, wonderful off-season stories, and all this, and we'll get to that. But I guess where to begin this week, I think the big news was, wait, Tennessee, they're recruiting 14-year-olds now?
Yes, with Tony Mitchell.
Yes. Anyway, it's thoughts on that, because I'll tell you what I was thinking. It's David Sills and Lane Kiffin over at Southern California who made a similar commitment to play quarterback for the Trojans. Well, he wound up playing wide receiver for the West Virginia Mountaineers. And so I'm looking at this and I'm saying, what's going on here? Really? I mean, you got 3 years. Who even knows if Jeremy Pruitt is going to be the coach? And it sounds like, a ninth grader who's all gung-ho. The guy runs a 4.9 40 for crying out loud. I mean, did you think the story was overblown? Caleb Calhoun, allfortennessee.com. What do you think it really means?
Well, yeah, I reported on it, but one of the things that caught me is it's exactly what you pointed out. I mean, is an 8th grade commitment really a commitment?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine, again, they're 13 years old. You have to assume that as they get older, they may change their mind a little bit. I mean, I think we all can say that we grew a lot between the 8th and the 11th grade in our years. And so I never took seriously a commitment because, again, unless you sign a letter of intent, they can always decommit and go somewhere else. And I'd like to see how often these 8th grade commitments have lasted. I mean, the one thing I'll say is he has pretty impressive measurables for a guy in the 8th grade, but, I'm not about to take seriously a commitment yet because, again, he's 13 years old. I mean, who makes a commitment that serious when they're 13? I feel like I need to see the numbers, but my guess is more often than not, 8th grade commitments don't stay committed to their school.
Okay, look, I do understand that if you enter in high school and you have goals to go to a certain college, I want to go to Tennessee to play sports, I want to go to Berkeley to study music, I want to go to Johns Hopkins to be a doctor, so you study, I get that, okay? But at the same time, is it ethical on either part, you think, to really be looking at the 2023 recruiting class in 2019?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I wonder the same thing. I mean, I think that, the NCAA is all about, protect the student athlete. Well, what about protect the high school athlete or the middle school athlete? And, I think, I'm not going to take the Stephen A. approach where he says that you shouldn't even be able to talk to recruits until the summer after their junior year of high school. I think, okay, maybe the summer after their sophomore year you can start contacting them, but I don't think coaches should be contacting middle schoolers.
Yeah,
college coaches.
I just, they, in Knoxville, they'll hate Lane Kiffin. He's unethical. And now Jeremy Pruitt seems to be doing the same thing Kiffin did at Southern California. But we don't hear that Pruitt is unethical. Think about that. I mean, that's why I ask you. I mean, from a Tennessee standpoint, should they even be looking at 14-year-olds?
Yeah, no. I mean, they shouldn't. But, I'll say that if you want to even the playing field at this point, if it's allowed, I'm one of those people that, you do what you're allowed to do, and you do what you have to do. And so, I don't know if it's something you have to do. I'm not so sure that if you stake your entire future on a 13-year-old kid, then you're already running your program the wrong way. But at the same time, if other coaches are going to do it, it's kind of the argument I made
Yeah.
was convicted of doing on a bench trial, and now he also could cause problems for your football team.
Well, I will also say this, as despicable as the Ray Rice video was, I often wondered, the woman, his girlfriend, did wind up marrying Ray Rice and standing by her man, and I sometimes wondered, are you penalizing Ray Rice or are you penalizing Mrs. Rice? Because, she's not going to now be taking in, her husband will not be taking in those earnings as an NFL running back. Now, again, I find it very hard to, what would it look like after that video to bring back in Ray Rice, who had a good college career, but not so great as a pro career. I do get that, but I often wondered, were you not really hurting Mrs. Rice? Of course, there is a question also, in addition to just how despicable that video was. You want this guy around here? Yeah, it's easy to say no, but, I've often wondered, was Mrs. Rice not hurt a second time? I've wondered. It's a horrible thing. Just don't get in these domestic violence situations. Just don't do that. Just don't do that. When you're talking about Greg Hardy or what have you, or now you have with Kellen Winslow Jr. and being a scumbag here and such. Anyway, let's go on to happier.
And by the way, Kellen Winslow has a Tennessee connection. Remember that famous "I'm an effing soldier" comment after Tennessee beat Miami in 2003, when Winslow said after Tennessee won that game, said that. He said he was trying to hurt Tennessee players when he was laying up blocks, and his quote was, "This is war. We're out here to kill." And this was at the height of the Iraq War breaking out. I mean, the most insensitive stuff you could say.
Yeah.
At that point. I didn't think he was a rapist, but he was always kind of a bad dude.
Yeah, I remember. I can actually remember him getting injured one time on an onside kick, and he was one of those guys. It's not, you don't want to have to take the to light the torch and carry the flag for Ray Rice. You don't want to do it for Greg Hardy, and you didn't want to do it for Kellen Winslow Jr. even back in the day, and now it's convicted of raping homeless women. I mean, really. You're Kevin Winslow Jr. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous here. It'd be ridiculous for anybody, though. Hey, you know what isn't seemingly ridiculous? The idea, as I transition here, of Tennessee landing Kerry Blackshear Jr. AllForTennessee.com is reporting when it thought that Blackshear was not interested in the Vols anymore. Now he's going to Knoxville this week. But the question is, I guess, I could see this. Okay, Blackshear would be the man in the paint next year for the Vols. But do they have any scholarships left to give him?
That's what I was wondering. They have one more, I think, because Victor Bailey, I don't know how the rules work with him being a redshirt, but the catch is, and we were writing about this on All for Tennessee this week, they're offering a couple of other 2019 scholarships. And I'm thinking, man, that'd be really bad timing if one of those guys committed, and then you could have gotten Kerry Blackshear. So I guess Barnes doesn't want to take any chances, so I understand the idea of being safe there, but they do have one more roster spot available for next year. I know that much. So that would, and I wonder what, if you're Rick Barnes, you throw everything you've got to get Kerry Blackshear to Knoxville. Because if you get him to Knoxville, I will say that, that's a heck of a job reconstructing his team for this year after losing so much talent last year.
Yeah, I would agree. I just don't know what they will have in the paint. And right now, it's like John Fulkerson from Kingsport is the go-to guy now in the paint, a guy who didn't even score against Loyola in the NCAA tournament 2 years ago. That's a flashing red light right there. But if you can get Blackshear, all of a sudden, remember, the Hokies picked up a grad transfer who really wasn't all that impressive. He was averaging like about 4 points a game or something like that, coming from I believe a mid-major school, Alabama State. And it's almost like that they're preparing to lose Blackshear. It's just a question of where. Is it Tennessee? Is it Kentucky? Is it Florida? Could he be reunited with Buzz Williams down at Texas A&M? We're talking to Caleb Calhoun of AllForTennessee.com. Quick question here. They did the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, and not a surprise to me, Holly Warlick got the biggest ovation. and it reminded me what Gene Henley of the Chattanooga Times Free Press said on this show, which was, Lady Vols fans like Holly Warlick, Tennessee fans don't. And just any thoughts there on, Warlick getting the love from her own peeps, so to speak?
No, I agree with that sentiment that that's exactly the truth. Lady Vols fans like her, Tennessee fans don't. I think that I will say that as critical as I was of Holly Warlick this past year, I was probably one of the last people to jump on the she's not doing the job train, and I would say that a lot of people didn't understand how, like me and you have talked about. I mean, she when she took the job, she was grossly underpaid relative to the women's college basketball landscape at the time.
I think it's insulting to her and the program that Harper all of a sudden comes in and starts making more money. And yes, I think it's insulting to the program, and it makes me wonder if Tennessee is serious about winning in women's basketball in the future. That's my comment. Please continue, Caleb Calhoun.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they are, and I think that it was a really fine balancing act, honestly, in the sense that where they probably realized that they did not pay out the money for Holly Warlick the way they should have. And I think so maybe they want to try to up it a little more this time. But the catch is, and I will say the hard part was when Holly Warlick was fired, let's not forget this, Tennessee was in dire financial straits at that time, back in 2012. I remember Dave Hart talking about after Dooley was fired, that was Holly Warlick's first year of full-time coaching, and they had like $1 million in reserve funds, and I think other schools have tens of millions. And so I think that it was funny because they kind of took advantage of the fact that Holly Warlick, they knew would take the Tennessee job, even though she was, let's be honest, she was overqualified when she was hired. I mean, she may not have worked out, but I did a ranking last week, the 10 best hires the Tennessee Vols have made this decade. Not how they worked out, but how qualified were they at the time. And Holly Warlick was only second to Rick Barnes for like the most qualified hire somebody could have made at that time when she was hired.
I'd buy that. Hey, look, they've never won a national title without her. I mean, exactly. She was the assistant. I get that. I mean, it's Pat Summitt's record. We understand that. But, I mean, you want to talk about a legend. You want to talk about Mount Rushmore. And as time went on, I just really... I found the whole circumstance a bit disturbing. I was very happy to see Holly Warlick get that ovation at the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. I want to ask you a question here, Caleb Calhoun, actually, regarding that. I remember when Warlick was fired, and, I went on the utsports.com website, and you saw, "Thank you, Holly Warlick," this sort of thing. And it really did strike me as the difference between coverage of the Vols or, let's say, Knoxville sports media. Could you imagine anywhere? I mean, Memphis, D.C., and maybe a little bit of Baltimore, too. Could you imagine any other market where you're firing a coach, even if they've got the team credentials that Warlick had? Because she's not the first one to, be a legend that's getting fired, and have on the website, "Thank you, Holly Warlick." I mean, could you imagine that happening anywhere else but at Tennessee?
I can imagine it happening if a coach, say, had won a national championship and didn't work out long term. So, for instance, I could see, I remember the Giants really being thankful to Tom Coughlin after they let him go because they did win 2 Super Bowls with him.
Okay.
But I'll say, Rob Frigie at Maryland, when he was forced out at the end of the 2010 season, nobody missed him, and nobody really felt bad that he was leaving, even though he's the best coach Maryland has had in the last 35 years. Football. But I will say, this has kind of been a regular thing for Tennessee. Remember, when they fired Fulmer in 2008, they immediately cleared the Kentucky game Fulmer date. That year, as he was coaching, as he was about to get fired. And you probably remember this better than I do, because I was only 4, but I've read about it. After Majors was fired in 92, I mean, that was like a 3-week funeral where they spent so much time honoring him for so many things he had done, even though he was still coaching, knowing he had been fired.
Yeah. I think it's sort of the spin right there. To tell you the truth, I remember with Majors, there was a lot of good riddance. And, he had spoken out against the boosters. I mean, I remember talking to him once, and he said, "Look, I had, before my bypass surgery, Dooley I had the contract extension on my desk, about ready to be signed, and then I had to go to the hospital, and my successor, he would never call Phil Fulmer by his name, my successor took over, won those 3 games, and you say you were 4 years old, Caleb Calhoun. I said, Tennessee that year lost 3 games when Majors came back. One on a last-second field goal, another by a touchdown to the eventual national champion Alabama, and another basically because a 2-point conversion didn't go in against South Carolina. And I said, that 2-point conversion goes in. Let's say the field goal goes wide, right? You're 10-1. You think you're back, and all this. And he says, I think I had a lot of people working against me. He actually said that. And
it's funny because I read more stories later, and I think this, from what I've read, it sounded like Fulmer was obviously, if he didn't get hired by Tennessee, was going to get hired by another major program at the
That's
time.
what they
say.
say.
Like there was fear that Fulmer would take half the staff with him wherever he went, and they didn't want to lose the entire staff.
There was that
that's
feeling.
What I read from afar.
There was that feeling, and yeah, I mean, I remember people calling in Vols call, what's it going, after they'd lose to whoever, I think even it was Arkansas. What's it going to be like when Phil Fulmer, this, up-and-coming coach, we can't afford to lose him. It was out with the old, in with the new. Didn't matter that you're getting rid of the legend. And, well, we'll see that. Anyway, I want to ask you if maybe Tennessee is doing it the other way when we come back. I'm going to give you a question based on my monologue of yesterday. It's Asian House Vols Talk with Caleb Calhoun of allfortennessee.com and myself. By the way, Asian House right now on the way from Jonesboro to Johnson City, or Johnson City and Jonesboro, shops on West Market. They've got great lunch specials, $5 for a vegetarian Chinese lunch, about $5.99 for a lot of other ones, so you're going to want to check that out and listen to the spot right now.